video unrelated to all my previous ones. This is going to be a tutorial on Emacs. This is going to be a video that I wanted to make for a long time. This was originally going to be the first video that I ever publish. This is not going to be a video that's going to teach you anything, probably. It's going to be more of a discussion, a way for me to speak my mind. And you are free to agree with me. Maybe you don't, that's cool. But it's going to be more of a discussion. A very one-sided discussion, because this is a video, but there is, the comment section's a thing. So if you'd like to, have a talk, by all means, I'm all for it. Now, what is this video even about at this point? I firmly believe that everybody should be using GNU Linux. I mean everybody. The implication is that if everybody switched, away from Windows or the Apple garbage, that the world would slowly become a better place. Because the one shortcoming of GNU Linux would be eliminated, which is a small user base. With more people using it, game developers, for instance, would actually create games for it or port over video games. A lot of people don't use Linux, or GNU Linux much rather, because they need Windows for their games. Which is it's a pretty stupid argument, because you can always just dual boot. Still. Now, I also have a slight issue with this entire fact that not a lot of people use Linux, because it makes no sense to me. Okay? It actually makes zero sense. I am very, very confused. The reason being, some of the Linux distributions that are really mainstream and really, meant for people who are not particularly experienced, like Ubuntu, Mint, what's the other one? What else is really meant at new people? Elementary OS. Solus? Is Solus meant for new users? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point is, they are so incredibly easy to install. Like, you click next on the button a few times, you insert your username, your password, a host name if you'd like, you can leave it default, select your time zone, click next, and just wait for 15 minutes. And everything is going to be fine. So it makes very little sense to me that people don't really use GNU Linux more. Now, I'm well aware where this comes from, as GNU Linux used to be difficult to install, and it used to be this mythical operating system that only the cool kids used, right? But nowadays things are a bit different. It's very easy to install, it's easy to use. It's way easier to use than Windows. Most people, they use Windows, and then when they switch, they think everything's difficult because they don't use Linux. They didn't use Linux before, anything based on Linux, other than their Android phone. Maybe they'd never touched a Unix system, Mac OS users or OS X, whatever the name of the thing is. They actually did, because, OS X is Unix. So most people, they started using computers on Windows, and then it's difficult to transition to anything else. I started using computers with Linux. Or, well, not really. I used Windows. Linux wasn't really a thing at this point, but the moment Linux was really usable and the first distributions started popping up, I started using it. And I've been using it for such a long time now. And I really don't understand. Back then, partitioning everything to doing all of it in Fdisk or parted, it was a pain in the bum. Compiling the kernel constantly, because updates were pumped out, all the time. Hardware compatibility, it was garbage. Nowadays everything's compatible, pretty much. I have installed on different distributions on so many computers. I have not seen any compatibility issues. The one thing that I had trouble getting to work properly was like a Razer mouse. Okay, that's an edge case though. Like a Razer mouse, it worked, though, but binding the keys, that was actually difficult. Maybe they fixed it now, I don't know, it's been a while. Anyway, the other thing I do not understand is OS X and Windows, you need to pay for them. Okay, now you can argue, no, you don't need to pay for OS X, it comes with the computer, and you actually, it's in there. If you waste $2,000 on a laptop, you better believe some of that money was actually spent on the operating system. And for Windows used to be tremendously expensive. It still is kinda expensive. Meanwhile, GNU Linux, or most of its distributions, are completely free. I mean, free as in free beer, and free as in freedom. You don't have to pay anyone to actually use GNU Linux. There is no, no. I mean, Linus Torvalds does not sit there behind his wall made out of money and just wait for you to pay him more. This dude is not a for-profit, entity. Nah, you don't need to pay anything. You can try it out for absolutely free. I don't understand why people don't use it. Everybody is always like, well, Linux has issues. Which issues? I mean, what exactly, does this operating system lack? Or does this family of operating system lack? I really, really struggle to understand. There's so many distributions that are, well, free and so easy to use and install. Is it different than Windows? Absolutely. It is different. Okay? It's different. But is it difficult? Not really. There's distributions that really aim to be almost, I don't want to say clones, but they want to resemble Windows. There's distributions out there that have a desktop environment that really wants to resemble OS X, like Elementary OS, for instance. I forgot what the desktop environment's called, but it looks like OS X. The other one's called Deepin Desktop. It looks very much like OS X. It's actually quite functional. I like Deepin, but only did not have systemd. Well, the other thing is, you all have those people in your family. Maybe they're a bit older, maybe they just never got into technology, and when they install software, they install like 20 toolbars, some adware, some free games, free wallpapers, and you have all this crap load of shortcuts on your desktop. With Linux, you don't have this issue because most of the let's say easy to use, more normie oriented distributions, they all have graphical package managers like front ends for apt or pacman or zipper or yum. It's called DNF now. It used to be called yum for Fedora and Red Hat. So you have these graphical user interface. You can just tell them, click on this icon, type in the software you want, click on install, wait for 20 seconds, and you're done. Instead of, it's going to even help you if you force your grandpa to use Linux. It's going to help you in the long run because you won't have to go there and remove toolbars every other day. And package managers are really, really nice. They're really handy. I hate the fact that Windows does not have a package manager by default, and I hate the fact that macOS does not have one by default. It does have, they both have these stores, like App Store, or Windows Store is called for Windows, I think, but that's not the same thing. Now, I can pop open a terminal, type in 3 words, or 2 words even, wait a short while, and I have my software installed. No, no shady download links, no nothing. Just works. Package managers really are good, and Linux distros, they have them. They really do. Besides, another thing, GNU Linux is very performance oriented. Okay, it's fast. It simply is. I have revived a lot of older machines that were um, pretty much under deathband already, but just by installing Fedora on them, or Antergos. You know, my father uses his laptop pretty much only to watch movies on Netflix, right? And when he did, the laptop just shut down because it overheated. And it got so bad he would watch for like 20 seconds and it would shut down and then did not turn on for minutes. All I did was make some space because it's still a dual boot. I shrunk the partition, installed, what did I install initially? Antergos or Manjaro? TLDR, then I installed Fedora because there were some issues. And yeah, he can watch movies for hours and no issues, and the temps are actually quite okay. You know, that's just me. But you can use this operating system because it's way more lightweight than Windows or Mac OS. Put it on hardware, expect it to work, expect it all to be compatible, and it's going to be faster. It's going to perform better. You know, I have a friend who uses an ancient laptop, and not really ancient, but it's like 2008. That's 10 years. And he put some distro on it. I'm not even sure which one. I think it's just Debian. And, you know, the laptop just works. Try putting Windows 10 on that. Or try, you know, getting it to be compatible enough to install macOS. And good luck, fam. The other thing is, now allow me to have a sip of my brew. The other thing is you've got choice, okay? With Windows, you're pretty much bound to the latest version of Windows. Some people use Windows 7. Windows 7 is actually quite important still. And most people, I guess it's not most, but you know, the way it looks like, everybody's on Windows 10 now. Everybody is on whatever the newest version of macOS is High Sierra, okay? Everybody uses it. It's all the same. Maybe you don't like certain features of it and you wished you had choice, but you don't have any choice because you are using a bad operating system. Now with GNU Linux, there's so many distributions, okay? You can just go on DistroWatch, that's a website that has a lot of distributions on there, and just pick something out. There is like thousands of them. So many. Now there is obviously a few major ones, the ones that people use. Like, again, Mint, Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, Fedora, Arch, Gentoo, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of them you can choose from. Some of them are just a spin on an actual like major distro with a different desktop environment. That's fine. You know, like there is what's it called? There was like a Ubuntu spin with i3, like i3 Ubuntu, so where you write i3, so it kind of looks like a B, and I don't know, but there you've got so much choice, man. There's so much choice. You are guaranteed to find something you like. Besides, if you don't like the look, nowadays, in current year, installing a different desktop environment takes a few seconds, and you can just change the entire look. Now, the best part of it is that it is both, or most of these distros are suitable for like your average normie, just someone who doesn't do anything on their computer other than, I guess, chat with people, use Skype, and then watch Netflix, and then post stuff on Facebook and Twitter. And it is the most suitable operating system for actual advanced users, because it is powerful. It has access to shells, much like, say, OS X. The difference being that it is actually customizable, so you can craft a system that you like using. And let's go back to the normies though. Now for normies, there's a video that I watched a short while ago by Luke Smith, who's a YouTuber, and the video is called something like Stop Distro Hopping. Actually, was it this video? No, it was a different video. It was a video of his, I think, where he described the perfect normie desktop. Like a normie. I'm pretty much. I don't want to like say I'm plagiarizing here, but because his description was very, very funny and accurate. I think it was the video where he is hating on Apple. That's a good video, by the way. You should watch that. He said a normie wants, they want big buttons on the screen, right? Big buttons, and then maybe a bar where you have the clock, and when you click on the buttons, a program pops up. That's it. That's what a normie needs. Normie doesn't need a shell. They don't need advanced system monitoring. They need big buttons and a browser. And there is a lot of desktop environments for GNU Linux that do exactly this. GNOME, for instance, it has huge buttons on the side, and you can, if you install it for someone, put their Skype, whatever they are using, put their browser on there, put their Discord, whatever, on there, and they don't need to touch anything else really, because in the end, let's be real for a second, all we or most of us use is a browser anyway, right? Especially normies. Like people nowadays use the browser for virtually everything. Like you can even Skype from the browser. You can chat with people from the browser, you can read, you can watch stuff. You can do almost everything in a browser nowadays. There's even text editors and image manipulation programs in a browser. Now I don't use the browser this much. I do use it a lot. I use it mostly to read, because, I kind of have software for everything else. Well, to be precise, I have Emacs. Emacs takes care of the rest. But in the end, I still don't understand, like, people invest so much money in, like, overpriced computers with some not that good operating system at Apple, or people just use Windows like they don't think for themselves, they just use what is given to them. And this, like, I don't understand. All most people use nowadays is a browser. You can use a browser from, I don't know, a Raspberry Pi running Debian. You don't need OS X for it, you don't need Windows. I mean, you barely need GNU, core utils, and, the kernel for it. Like, if you know someone, like say in your family, maybe they're older, maybe they're not, and all they use is, all they do is post status updates on Facebook and use Twitter from their computer, and like all they really need is a browser and maybe 2 or 3 external programs. Now do yourself the favor and do them the favor and pretty much, shill Linux onto them. And they are going to be thanking you sooner or later, because, well, that's all they need. Their computer is going to suddenly be faster, and they will be like, oh yeah, thank you, man, thanks, you really helped me a lot. And you'll be like, yeah, no problem, man. And then you're going to go home and praise Richard Stallman in your shrine, because you do have a shrine, right? The only one? Oh. Anyways, I guess the rant is over now. In the end, I really do not understand why people don't use the operating system that GNU Linux is. And because all the arguments against it, and I tried discussing this with people, I tried listening to actual, real life people with their arguments, stuff like, it's difficult to use. And no, it's not. Have you ever tried it? Like in the last, 10 years, where it actually became very easy to use? Oh, and then the second one is obviously that's difficult to install. What is difficult about clicking next 3 times and inputting what's being asked? That's not hard. You don't even have to do the partitioning yourselves anymore. They took out all the fun out of the installation. This is why I use GNU. At least it's fun to install. Like, some of the installers even have like a assist mode to set up a dual boot that's going to shrink partitions for you. Like, how crazy is this? That's not difficult to install. And the other arguments are like, there's no software for it. What the hell do you mean there is no software for it? All you use is a browser anyway. And if you actually need other software, chances are it's actually available in one way or another. I even do most of my gaming on Linux. or GNU Linux much rather, because it works. You know, you can emulate, well, not really emulate, but you can use Wine to launch a lot of stuff, and well, most things work. The only reason I kept Windows 10 back in the day was because, or I had a dual boot setup. The only reason I had Windows 10 was because I wanted to play The Witcher 3 occasionally. That was really the only reason. Everything else I did not need Windows for. And, chances are all your software is going to work. And the last argument, the one that is actually kind of difficult to refute, is mock games, right? You know, if you all you do is play video games, then yeah, I can agree. GNU Linux may not be the operating system for you. A lot of games are going to work. Many of them natively. Some of them, you'll have to use something like Wine, or if you're not particularly, knowledgeable on that subject, if you're a bit of a brainlet on emulating Win32, then you can use a wrapper for it, like Play on Linux. It just works. Just click on a game, select, or put in your CD, and then click next a few times, and it's going to be set up for you. But even if you play video games, then, and if you want to play AAA titles that are not available on Linux, or GNU Linux, I keep forgetting my own, I don't like people who say Linux is an operating system, because it's not true. But when I actually talk about it, it's kind of difficult to say GNU every time you say Linux. What I was about to say is, set up a dual boot, man. Like, you owe this to yourself. You owe this to yourself to use an actual good operating system, because there is one very, very big advantage when using GNU Linux. The advantage being that this operating system does what you tell it to do. Okay? Need another sip there. This is the reason why I use this. Because it's obedient. It's a tool. When you take a look, like Windows, for instance, it has like advertisements in their operating system. Like legitimate advertisements. Like Candy Crush garbage. Or like if you want to change your browser away from Edge, it's like, no, please, come back. Use me. I am so much better now. I am faster than Internet Explorer and Chrome and blah blah. That's kind of crappy. And then you have all this garbage installed. And when I finally found out how to uninstall software in Windows 10, the remove button or uninstall button was grayed out. It did not let me remove software. I needed to look for some shady scripts on GitHub to remove the garbage. Who thought this is do people genuinely believe that Windows 10 is a good operating system? Or have you ever tried killing a process in Windows? More often than not, I did. I actually did software development on Windows, and I would cause my software to hang. This would happen a lot, so I needed to kill it, right? So I would open up Task Manager and issue the kill process command, and nothing would happen. Then the Task Manager would freeze, and then Explorer would just die and then start again. It did not do what I told it to do. Or sometimes, you have to click like exit task like 20 times before it actually happens. This operating system is not good, and it's not obedient. On GNU Linux, you type kill all and the name of the process, and it's gone. I have never had, GNU Linux actually misbehave on me or not do what I told it to do. As for OS X, I don't really have a lot of experience with OS X, but the sole fact that it tries to be this exclusive to Apple products, and the fact that these products are so overpriced, and the fact that this operating system, because I used it for a while, I don't have any Apple hardware. Okay, let's put it this way. I did, however, use OS X for a while, OS X tried to fight me. Okay, OS X was, a brave contender, and it tried to fight me every time it could. Everything that I have learned, every established convention in using a computer was different on OS X. Even something as basic as scrolling. Okay? Like natural scrolling or whatever. Yeah, no. Like Steve Jobs did not die for this. Was this a thing back when he was alive? I hope it wasn't. It's actual shit. Anyways, thank you for watching, or much rather listening. I needed to get this out of my system because I am angry. I love GNU Linux, and I'm going to defend it until the end of time. It does have its shortcomings. It's far from being perfect, but I am a strictly use the best tool for the job kind of person. Okay, I use GNU Linux because it's the best thing out there. If there was something better, I would switch in a heartbeat. And I tried it all out. I tried OS X, tried different versions of Windows now. I tried Android for computers, for like actual Android x86. I tried it out. I tried out Haiku OS, I don't know, like Reactos, and then the open source Windows clone. I mean, hell, I installed Temple OS just for shits and giggles. I tried to look for something that would be better, but there is nothing that is better. And one might argue that this is personal preference, that I am, this is all subjective. And while I can't refute this, I also know that most people have no idea what they're talking about when they're talking about operating systems, because most people have only tried one, two tops. So I highly recommend you give GNU Linux a try, and if you already use it, and you still listen to me ramble on it for almost 30 minutes, then do yourself the favor, grab your pen drive, put a distro of your choice on there, go visit your grandma, go visit your aunt or your uncle, install it for them, see what they say. Or at least, we have, in the land of GNU Linux, we have live USBs. You don't even have to install it, and you can just let them try it out. And if they're like, no difference, then just replace their garbage operating system with yours, and that will be golden. Alright, I'm actually done ranting now. Thank you for watching. This got a bit longer than I intended it to be. I'm still going to upload it because I said everything I wanted to say. So yes, install GNU Linux, friends, and get rid of your proprietary, not particularly good operating system. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye bye.